Also, former teammate Rashawn Gary is there now. They're trying to build a little bit of a pipeline between Michigan and Paramus, New Jersey, Paramus Catholic High School. But Drew Singleton did narrow down his list to 12. He's got LSU, Michigan, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Clemson, Auburn, Maryland, Rutgers, Penn State, Pittsburgh, and California. So a little look there at recruiting here on Clemson Sports Talk, talking about five-star Trevor Lawrence, who's gone with potentially announcing a commitment soon, to waiting, to maybe that's coming back around, and maybe you'll hear something out of Trevor Lawrence's camp, who's cut off really access to the media. Maybe you'll hear something from him in the next couple of days. So hour number 2, kind of diving in here on some of the young bucks, from the freshmen that might make an impact early on. We've also talked a little bit of recruiting. Again, the topic, though, du jour, the AP put out their top 100 teams all time in the history of college football. The Clemson Tigers come in at number 22. The Gamecocks at number 48. The top 5 teams are those that you probably would expect to be there, but the number 1 team, or the number 1 rated team all time, Ohio State, followed by Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, and Southern Cal. That's a look at the top 5 teams according to the AP's top 100 teams in the history of the AP poll. By the way, if you're interested, there is no number 100. They have 4 teams tied at number 99: Columbia, William & Mary, Nevada, and Bowling Green. Clemson Sports Talk back at it in 3 minutes here on Fox Sports Radio, iHeart Radio, and Facebook. Stay with us.
All day long, you're stuck at your desk, toiling over numbers, trapped behind spreadsheets. But while you're making those stacks,
man, that dude is making us money. Big breaking news. Breaking news.
Sports news could be breaking at any moment.
This is the big story in sports. We're all over it.
With a free iHeart Radio app, you could listen to your favorite station all day, anywhere you are. Just go to iHeartRadio.com or use our free iHeart Radio app.
Join Lexington Medical Center and Fox Sports Radio 1400 at the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers, South Carolina 5K Run and Walk, Friday, September 16th, 7 p.m. in Columbia's Vista. This unforgettable event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and military service members. Proceeds benefit the Tunnel to Towers Foundation and its programs, as well as support first responders, military service members, and their families in our state. To register, visit t2trunsc.org. Walk, run, and honor our heroes.
Some of you think it takes too long to drive to Buffalo Wild Wings, order lunch, eat, and get back to work in time. It's because of people like you that we've got the B-Dubs Fast Break Lunch Menu. We guarantee you'll get an entree like wings or street tacos plus a side delivered to your table in just 15 minutes, or it's free. You used to wish we could serve lunch faster. Now you might wish we were slower, but we won't be. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
For a limited time only at participating locations. Restrictions apply. See participating locations for details.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms will gradually dissipate throughout the rest of the overnight. Mild and muggy conditions as temperatures fall back into the middle 70s. On Wednesday, another hot and humid day. Highs middle 90s. Once again, the chance for hit-and-miss showers and storms. For Channel 25, ABC Columbia, I'm meteorologist Greg Armbrecht.
This report is brought to you by the South Carolina Education Lottery. What's better than money? Big money. Play the new $5 instant ticket. $125,000 big money from the South Carolina Education Lottery. Top prize is $125,000. Top prize odds 1 in 480,000. Overall odds 1 in 3.74.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show now at 978-1832 or text 803-450-0086.
Each and every evening from 6 to 8 p.m., Fox Sports Radio 1400, the iHeart Radio app. You can listen there, digital, wow. YouTube, high definition, yes. Facebook, You know, the Facebook thing's really coming along. As a matter of fact, I am really liking being on Facebook right now for a couple of reasons. It kind of shows my demographic, what you guys do when you get home. You get on Facebook, right? You at least get on there for a little bit. So that's definitely helping the program expand the audience. 803-978-1832. Bobby Ray says, great show, Swan. Appreciate that, Bobby Ray. Like a man with two names. Jamie says, the Coots are just hating the Tiger life. They think they have a chance this year because of Captain Boom. Then he gives you the old crying, laughing. So the comments of the Facebook listeners do not reflect those of the host. 803-978-1832. That's the number tonight here on the program. And the text line brought to you by the Caribbean Resort and Villas, 803-450-0086. Mentioning the success of the Clemson Tigers and Colin Cowherd's belief that Clemson would be ranked number one in the country. It's been a pretty good offseason for Clemson in terms of recognition of the different units on the field. As a matter of fact, Clemson's quarterback situation, according to Phil Steele, was the number one situation in the country. Again, Watson, we all know, 4,100 plus yards through the air, over 1,100 yards on the ground. First player in the history of college football to pull off that feat. Phil Steele talked about Kelly Bryant being bigger, stronger, and faster than Watson. I don't know about the touch down the field. That would be the biggest concern. I guess Dr. Nick Schuessler is going to be the backup. And if something were to happen to Deshaun Watson, he gets hurt and taken out of a game for a little bit, I think they probably trust Schuessler more than they trust Kelly Bryant or Tucker Israel or Zarek Cooper. That I think I would, even though I think there's certainly a package you could put in with Kelly Bryant where maybe you just kind of take the ball out of the air and use Bryant as that extra hat in the box. He's fast. I mean, he's an athlete. I mentioned earlier, he's a guy that could change positions. But Clemson, the number one situation in the country in terms of quarterbacks, according to Phil Steele. Well, Fox Sports said Clemson has the number one ranked wide receivers in the country. And all of this coming off of the heels of the Clemson Tiger offensive line being named the number one offensive line in the country. You don't see this often, where outlets say, hey, this is the best quarterback group, this is the best offensive line group, this is the best wide receiving group. Running backs ranking inside the top 15 in the country. Tight ends are going to be probably inside the top 5, you would believe. And if you talk about the weaponry that the tight ends are for this offense, there is no question it's one of the top in the country because Deshaun Watson is one of those rare quarterbacks that utilizes the tight end as frequently as he does. And Jordan Leggett's a kid who's really caught on, and I think is going to be a player in the NFL moving forward. I don't know if I would have said that about Jordan Leggett coming off of his freshman year. Certainly on the potential side of things, you could have said it, but not off of the production. But now Jordan Leggett coming back for another year, kind of a safety zone for Deshaun Watson, a big target, very athletic. He's faster than I think people probably give him credit for. Linebackers struggle to run with him. DBs can't jump with him. He is a big part of this offense, and I think the tight ends would be one of the top 5 groups in the country. But you just don't see this type of collection of talent, and it's still so young and raw. And I know I personally, and you probably do this as well, tend to maybe overlook some of the returning talent that Clemson has at wide receiver in terms of getting guys back. Mike Williams, yes, but then when you start talking about Mike, I think you forget about Deion Kane. And I think Artavis Scott vanishes. And I think Ray McLeod is not even thought of. Travion Thompson, some of you say, who? And then, oh yeah, just this other little guy named Hunter Renfrow, you may have heard of him, couple of touchdown catches in the national championship, littered offensively coming into this season. Unlike many I've ever seen. I am excited about the year being here, but I'm excited about the year coming, college football season coming every single season. But I've just never quite seen it at this type level where there is potentially top-level playmakers at every single position offensively. Rarefied air right now up at Clemson. Rarefied air. By the way, if you talk about the other top 10 groups in the country in terms of receiving cores, Alabama comes in at number 2. Calvin Ridley, what a specimen he is. Good gracious, that kid out of Florida. You talk about one that the Seminoles, Gators, and Hurricanes missed. Woo-hoo, and they know they missed him. Ridley at Alabama, spectacular. Then you've got Michigan, Oregon, Penn State, Texas A&M. You talk about some Frisbee catching dogs. Texas A&M throws them out there, don't they? Southern Cal, Washington State, Oklahoma State, and Ole Miss. Your top 10 programs in the country in terms of wide receiver production potentially coming into the 2016 season, according to Fox Sports. Make no mistake about it. Rarefied air this year offensively for Clemson. Your questions will come on the defensive side of the ball. 803-978-1832. The hashtag on Twitter is CST Show. You can follow the program at Clemson Sports. That's Clemson news, notes, information, and more. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't forget to participate with us out on social media, on Twitter. I'm going to check that out here momentarily and see what you guys are talking about during the break. When we come back, final segment of the show, we'll get into the College Sports Corner, brought to you by our good friends down at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. Been a busy evening on the program, and we definitely appreciate you hanging out with us. And don't forget, all the big news coming out from Clemson Tigers camp will be emerging shortly as members of the media just met with the Clemson Tiger football team. We'll have audio for you here on Clemson Sports Talk tomorrow evening. And we thank William Qualkenbush for being a part of the program early. If you missed any of it, catch the podcast. Final segment of the show and the College Sports Corner coming back with you here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, live on the iHeart Radio app, also on Facebook and YouTube. It is the show that shakes the Southland.
Does your water have a bad taste and odor, high content of chlorine and chemicals, and hardness? Then call the plumbing pros at Metz Plumbing for a free water analysis. Metz Plumbing is the exclusive dealer for Connecticut Water Systems, the best drinking water system in the world.
732. You're on Pit Stop Radio, and here's what real customers have to say about their pit stop.
I'm a student at Moeller Road Middle. I come to Pit Stop about 2-3 times a week. I usually get a pack of Dippin' Dots and a soda, and I'll get gas for my golf cart here. They have good prices on Pepsi. I can get an 8-pack of 12-ounce Pepsi, 2 for $6. I usually like to go swimming in my grandmother's pool, and I like to go ride my friends around on my golf cart on trails.
Want convenience without compromise?
Don't stop till you're at Pit Stop.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. And while many don't know it, there's one path to success that still only requires a dream and about $10. That's right. If your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. And today at Vistaprint.com, you can get 500 full-color business cards for only $9.99. That's right, only $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code 5454 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 5454.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Shaking the Southland weeknights, Fox Sports Radio, the belly of the beast, Columbia, South Carolina, the iHeart Radio app. Lawton Swan in the building at Clemson Sports on Twitter. News, notes, information, more 24 hours a day. Interact with us out there on social media. We love having you be a part of it. Also on Instagram at Clemson Sports Talk. Straight flexing. 803-978-1832. I mentioned earlier in the program about Colin Cowherd talking about the Clemson Tigers. Here's exactly, before we get into the College Sports Corner, here's exactly what Cowherd had to say here on Fox Sports Radio.
Number one.
I don't think there's any question Clemson has to be number one. The schedule will include 9 routes. They have to go to Florida State. That's their toughie. But while Florida State has a mediocre senior quarterback, they have Deshaun Watson, who will be the number one college quarterback in America this year. He is a shorter version of Cam Newton. They return 8 offensive starters. They lost a ton on defense, but they don't face elite quarterbacks in their conference. And they've got several 5- and 4-star guys defensively in the box that got some time or ready to step in. This is the easiest schedule, best quarterback, and enough returning starters. Clemson's my number one team in college football by the end of the year going into the playoffs.
So there you go. Colin Cowherd here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 from 3 to 6, leading into Clemson Sports Talk, says the Tigers are the number one team in the country heading into the college football playoff. Out on social media, Josh, at Josh Tetzlav on Twitter, says, man, I'm getting my morning fill of Clemson Sports Talk on iHeart Radio at work. Hashtag Fight Tigers Fight. Also, one of our sponsors, Lexington Medical Center, thanking us for all the retweets. No, thank you, Lexington Medical Center, for everything you do for us here in the Midlands. So many people utilizing your services here in the Midlands. What a fantastic – listen, I'm from a small town where the hospital folded up shop. Believe me, the community thanks you, Lexington Medical Center, for being here for us. 803-978-1832. Text line brought to you by the Caribbean Resort and Villas, 803-978. I did it twice. That's not right. I mean, what is wrong with you, Swanee? Text line, Caribbean Resort and Villas, 803-450-0086 there. 803-450-0086. But without further ado, the College Sports Corner.
Clemson Sports Talk presents the College Sports Corner, brought to you by Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. Just a short drive down I-26 at exit 145A in Orangeburg. Now, CST reporter Lawton Swan.
You know, Johnny, sometimes the College Sports Corner is fun. Sometimes the College Sports Corner is funny. Sometimes the College Sports Corner is disappointing. And it was announced yesterday that former Colorado coach Bill McCartney has dementia, Alzheimer's disease, late onset dementia. And I had a chance, of course, Bill McCartney, if you don't remember, head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes when they won their national championship back in the 1990s. There was just a great 30 for 30 on him earlier this year that I had the chance to watch and see some of his former players, kind of interacting with him and telling the story of his time there at Colorado. His grandson, as a matter of fact, Derek McCartney, is a redshirt junior linebacker for the Colorado Buffaloes. I have been fortunate in my life to not have had early onset Alzheimer's or dementia affect anybody in my family knowingly that I am aware of. It is one that is quite scary. Cancer, I cannot say we've avoided that. Lou Gehrig's disease, I can't say we've avoided that. This is one, though, that we have managed to avoid thus far, but one that is absolutely horrifying for people who are not only afflicted with it, but for those that live with relatives that have this, and how difficult it is to be with someone you love and they don't know who you are. I can't imagine that. We just recently lost Pat Summitt to the same thing, and to hear this about Bill McCartney was not good news today. One of the things I don't like about the College Sports Corner is delivering that type of information about guys who were just good football coaches. Baylor announces they will not allow their assistant coaches to speak with the media this season. Only interim head coach Jim Grobe will be speaking to the media this fall. You go back to the incidences that have taken place at Baylor. Many people still surprised some of these coaches have jobs. I know Art Briles does not, but the assistants that are still there. But absolutely, this is a move you would think that is done by Baylor to try to protect these guys, which sort of sickens me because these guys didn't do anything to protect these young females. So, you look at it, football coaches, staff members, with improper steps to disclose information about sexual assaults and dating violence, on and on and on. Yet they still have jobs. And now it appears Baylor protecting them. You know what? If you're man enough, and I use the term man enough loosely here, to not do anything, you cowards, then man up and step in front of a microphone and take the heat. That's the way I feel about it. Last but not least, here in the College Sports Corner, out of the classic city of Athens, Georgia, they held their first football practice on Monday. Nick Chubb got the first carries of Georgia's first fall practice. Of course, there were still some questions out there about Chubb, his health, the gruesome injury that he had last season. Sony Michel got injured on an ATV in the offseason. But indeed, Nick Chubb, no restrictions, received the first carries for the running back group there at Georgia. You talk about a program that's racked up running backs in recent years. There is no doubt about the Georgia Bulldogs. You go back and, man, when Keith Marshall and Todd Gurley committed to Georgia, who knew that was just the precursor? And I don't think this is all kind of rolling over from what Herschel Walker did back in the 1980s. I know Clemson likes to throw up that wide receiver U. I don't know that running back U right now isn't clearly in the classic city of Athens. The Bulldogs, spectacular. Finally, you know what? We'll squeeze one more in here. Clemson's been with Nike for a long, long time. And while Nike's Jumpman brand, the Michael Jordan brand, is maybe more correlated to North Carolina basketball, and maybe you're lining the pockets of North Carolina in some ways by wearing Jumpman uniforms, Michigan unveiled their Jumpman-themed uniforms. Not for basketball, though, ladies and gentlemen, for football. It's kind of weird because you're playing football and there is that Michael Jordan Jumpman logo. As a matter of fact, even on the gloves, there was a huge Jordan logo. But I know this about college kids. I know this about high school kids. I know this about the host of this program. Jordan Brand is special. I would not be against at all Clemson wearing Jumpman branded uniforms, shoes, all of that, the perks that come with it. This is like getting the top level vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go down to Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, you can get the Corvette, you can get the Cadillac. That's the Jumpman. Nothing wrong with the Malibu. That's the Nike. I like this. I'd do it all day long, each and every day. You know what else we'll do tomorrow? 2 more hours of this. Clemson Sports Talk, Fox Sports Radio 1400, the iHeart Radio app, Facebook, and YouTube. Until then, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
Do you need lodging for your next Tigers game? To get a real game day experience, skip the hotel and stay close to campus in one of Rent Like a Champion's comfortable vacation homes. You can call Rent Like a Champion, a Mark Cuban company featured on ABC Shark Tank at 855-BIG-GAME to set up your weekend lodging today.
Hi, my name's Tim Forehand. I'm a deputy sheriff. In my job, keeping in shape is important. I've tried other products.